Yeah, thanks God. I have had a few interesting persons around me that really made a difference. But today I'm going to talk about Mrs. Liana Baghdati. I met her in 1999 when I was in my first grade at university. Um, at first I was very proud of her because she was called a living encyclopedia. She knew a lot about the facts, and I was too proud of her. But then it turned out that there were not only this fact, but other facts as well, such as I have to highlight the methods she used towards us, I mean, towards the students. I have to mention that her individual approach was outstanding. Um, uh, once I do remember that I was struggling in my fourth or fifth grade for my exam. It was my end of term exam, and my parents noticed that I was too anxious and decided to come along for my comfort. And when I was just being assessed, when I was examining by her, she noticed that my parents were outside waiting for me, and she stopped me and told me to go out and tell my parents that they did not have anything to worry about, that the girl was dealing with it very well. And but she told me to go back quickly because the examination was not over. And I do remember just she was teaching me the history of English language. At that time, I assumed, and the students assumed it as a boring lesson, boring lecture, but she used the methods. She prepared the blackboard in advance, not to waste her precious time. She used to write down the symbols, vowels, consonants, diphthongs, and so on and so forth. And at the beginning of the lecture, she flipped the board open, and with the sparks in her eyes, she started the lesson. And I have to mention that at the same time, she had a kind of empathy that I have already mentioned regarding to my exam. I have to admit that it was not just the case that Ms. Liana felt what I felt at that time. She felt, she thought, and she acted. She used these three types of empathy at that time: emotional empathy, cognitive empathy, and compassionate empathy as well. And when I got married, I was on my fifth grade. She asked me to arrange a meeting with my husband and between my husband and her. And it was kind of 4 or 5 minutes talk. It was not a long talk. And she said that, you please, she said to my husband, you are very wise. I like your choice. But if I were you, I would create the kingdom where I would live like a king. And thanks to her, I have been living in our imaginary kingdom for 17 years. And and the way she finished the lessons was awesome, I have to mention. At the end of the lesson, she used to tell us, she used to mention, please pick up the thing that you like most of all during my lecture. Even pick up the gesture that I used, even the word that you like. And I started on my first grade, I started using a diary. And during 5 years, I used to write, I used to note everything down in my diary. And I have to mention that this is the most precious item, just gift from this very person. And I think that Miss Liana decided to make a difference in the world because he was the different from the world, and that's why.